Entrepreneur Podcast. You got us today. And today, not lesson 32, but episode 32. It's going to feel like a lesson by the end of this, guys. But no,
That's right.
episode 32. Leaders are readers. And we're going to dive into some of the books that we're reading outside of our business working hours. But starting it out, I'm Tyler Willis Media. Payton, what you got going on over there?
What's up? It's Payton with Payton Peoples and Company, Keller, Williams, Realty, Atlanta Partners. Whoop, whoop.
That's right. We're going to get into some of the books that we've been reading. I'll tell you, the last time I actually read a physical book was when I was in my master's program. And I had to read, it was like 8-week program, and I had to get through 9 history books because I was taking my master's class was in American history. And one of the books was like 700 pages long. And I was like, this is before AI came out. This is before any chat GPT.
Oh,
And so like, here I
God.
am after work at nighttime, like reading like 3 pages and going like I'm knocking out. And I was like, no, there's no way possible to read
There's no
this.
way. There is no way.
And I was like, I don't know. And then we'd have to have, you remember how college was. You got to have to go in there and you have to post like a little thing and then you have to have back and forth with everybody.
Oh my God.
I hated
Yes.
those. They were so
boards.
terrible. And everybody was like, oh
The
my gosh,
worst.
I love your response. I'm like, shut up. You didn't even read it either.
Nope.
Like, who's got time to read it like this?
That's awful. That's awful.
Well, Peyton, what are you reading nowadays?
Okay. So I read this book for the first time, I think it was last year. Like this time last year, I was part of a young professionals book club, and it's called Who Not How. And it's the formula to achieve bigger goals through accelerating teamwork.
Ooh.
So if you're like me and you have trouble leveraging things and giving things over to other people, because we all know there's only so much growth that you can do by yourself, right? Eventually you hit a ceiling, and in order for you to continue to grow, you've got to bring in other people to your world. So this book really outlines not only that topic of why that's so important, but how you do that and how you do that well and how you find the right people and how important it is to find the right people and how you should continue to ride the struggle bus, for lack of a better term, instead of settling for the wrong person.
And that's called Who Not How.
Yes.
I'm using one of my Audible credits right now to buy this one.
Yeah. It's not super long. It's like, I don't know, 190 pages or something like that. But it's one of those, like, you can pick it up and read it in chunks. Like, you don't have to like just sit down and like read. So it's definitely one of those great like business development type things, but like, who creates results, how creates problems. So like walking you through what that looks like and all those things. So I love things when it comes to business development for it to be tangible. Like, how can I take something from this and immediately apply it to my business to help me figure out how to be better?
Yep.
And this was one of those books that I immediately was like, I need all of it, and you can't absorb all of it enough. So rereading it. There's very few books in the world. I'm a reader. I love to read, but like there are very few books in the world that I will reread. So this one, my friends, is great. What about you?
Like I said, I don't really read them unless I'm forced to, but I listen to Audible like it's one out of style. And so my favorite one, I've got 2 that I want to talk about. The first one is called The Energy Bus by John Gordon. So good. And the Audible is only 2.5 hours. Like, it's really fast. And so this one goes through and walks you through. I can't remember. Like I said, whenever I do an Audible book, I got to listen to it like 4 or 5 times. I drive a ton. So it's like, it's just what I do. And that's where the phrase energy vampire comes in. And so I wanted to nail down where this phrase came from. And this book was told to me. And I just listened to it all in one day. And it's so good. It is so good. You can go to his website and get the chart at the end. It's kind of written like a children's book too, which is what I liked about it. And so The Energy Bus by John Gordon is so good. And the second one on the Audible side, it's long. It's 18 hours. I've only made it through about half of it. But it's called Creativity Inc. And it kind of just trains you to rethink through how you're working and solving problems. And it's written by the founders of Pixar. all things Disney. And so like
Mhm.
this one just walks you through the Pixar mindset of how they started their company whenever they were acquired by Disney and how they continue to push out new product under Disney, but still have the Pixar mindset. And so that's Creativity Inc. And that's a really, really strong one to learn how to problem solve. But on the
That's cool.
yeah, it's a good one, Creativity Inc. But on the personal side of things, this is one we're doing it from our church small group, and it started with our group doing this one first. It's called "I Said This, You Heard That," and it walks you through your wiring, and so everybody's wired differently, of course. And so like they how you saw the four colors on the front: red, yellow, green, and blue. So it walks you through what it means to be a red or a yellow or a green or blue. Just as a snippet. So red is like control freak, like I don't give two craps about what you say. It's gonna be my way or the
Yep.
highway. Yellow
Yep.
is like the party person, super extrovert, want to be around everybody. Green is like the more reserved thinker, but still like mindset to do things. And blue is like hands off. I'll absorb this and talk to you in 9 months once I fully process it. And so
Okay, so which one are you?
I'm a yellow,
Mhm.
and so I lean heavily, into the yellow side. But I'm like the unicorn because I'm an introverted yellow. Because like I love to be around people for about 2.7 seconds, and then I'm like, that's enough people, and for a year,
That's
bye,
enough.
bye. So
That's
it's
right.
like that's 100% me. But that was what we did last year as a group, and now we're moving through the second one, which is the children's focus of it. So like this breaks it down. It's called A Grown-Up's Guide to Kids Wiring. Same author, Kathleen Edelman. Fantastic so far. Only into the first chapter because our group just met for the first time this past week. And so it walks you through, instead of like, because in the adult workbook it is a full-blown like 30-45 minute like questionnaire that you're asking yourself. It's this massive thing. With kids, you're using the understanding of the wiring system, but to then gauge them through the eyes of these different questions without having them directly take it in the beginning. And by the end of the book, you have them kind of answer some questions, and it lets you get to kind of know the wiring of your kid. And it's just like, how do you interact with them? What's the best way to like correct them? Like, how do you build up their strengths while not just being your own like dominant color? And so like it makes total sense to me because I'm pretty sure my kid is a yellow just like I am. And so I was like, I already know how to talk to her. Like I got this because I was like, I've been dealing with this for 8 years now, so I know how to talk to her
Mhm.
without like pushing buttons and still get what I need done. And so like it's just gonna be interesting to see as we go through it because it's massive, like I said. But like every kid innately has their own way of doing things, like we all know that. But this then helps you to go like, well, like how can I help them through this while not crushing their character? And so
Right.
just more stuff like that, just really helpful. Helpful in this time because
Mhm.
the other night at our church we had a thing for just adults to come to, like they call it the Parrot Summit, and we were going through it, and like the psychologist that was there was talking about like the number one thing he's seeing in his office right now is kids dealing with stress and anxiety issues. And in my head I'm
Mhm.
like, how are you guys stressed and anxiety? You ain't got bills, like shut up, just go to school.
Right.
But I'm
That's
like,
right.
but like the bombardment, because he was dealing with it from like a middle school, high school perspective, and he said now that kids have phones in their pockets and have access to the internet and social media, he said that that's all he sees is anxiety issues because of a phone. So his first thing is like a digital detox, get them off of it, and next thing you know, the next couple of months, they just see a completely different kid. And
Mhm.
so I just thought that was like he's like, as adults, we've kind of grown up with it. We understand how to use it, but kids don't understand that. And so
Right.
it was just kind of like in my head as a former tech teacher, I was like, this is what I was trying to tell kids in classrooms, but the parents would never apply it. And so it's like it was just nice to finally
Right.
hear a psychologist put it all into doctor speak, so that way the church would listen.
Mhm.
And
That's
so,
correct.
but
That is correct.
but that's
No,
all I'm
that's
reading
that's
now.
really cool. Do you know what have you ever done, like, the Enneagram?
So that's what I need to do next. And there's another one that's like the cardinal directions or something. And
Mhm.
I'm a hardcore, I forget what direction it is, but it's whatever like can cast big visions but sucks at details. That's me to core, and I own it. Like I suck at all things details. But I can come up with vision all day, and I can have you vision cast. I can see 20 years into the future sometimes and give you the whole details. But I'm like, I don't know how to get you the details. I suck at that part.
Right.
That's me.
I can't get you from here to there, but I can tell
But I can
you
tell you,
that
like,
the future is gonna be great.
that's me in a nutshell. Like, I suck
I
at all
love it.
things.
I love stuff like that, though, like, stuff that helps you understand your personality better, or and especially, like, your kids too. That stuff you wanna talk about going down a rabbit hole, that's
Yep.
I will never come back. I've done, like, all the different, like, personality tests and all that stuff. I know from the colors that you were talking about, I'm a red.
Yep.
I do know that, but the Enneagram was the most, like, nail on the head for me
Gotcha.
because I think it has like the wings, so it's not just what your dominant personality is, it's also like what you can become, like when you're unhealthy or when you're tired or when you're
Okay.
anxious, or like, so it really helps explain all the
Is
different.
this the number one where people are like, I'm a 7 or whatever?
Yeah, so I'm a
Okay.
3-wing too.
A 3-wing 2. Okay, that sounds
Yep.
like some pad stuff, but okay, whatever.
Right.
So, Enneagram. Okay, if
Mhm.
you send me, is that like an online test? I have to pay for money for it? Like, what does this look like?
No, there's a free one, so
Okay.
you shouldn't have to pay for it,
Okay.
but it does take, like, 30 minutes to, like, walk you through it,
Okay. Gotta
and
have time.
then yeah, right, you gotta figure that out,
Okay.
but then once you take it, it'll give you what it
Wings.
suggests
Okay.
you think you are, and then so your wings can only be, so I'm a 3, so my wings could only be a 2 or a 4, so you can only
Whatever
be,
you're
like,
around.
what's directly
Yep.
related. Mhm.
You're adjacent. The same way with the colors. It's whatever you touch.
Yeah.
It can't be a
So,
diagonal.
there's a whole chart and everything, so it's like when you're super stressed out, like, 3s typically become more like 9s, and we're actually
Mm.
complete opposites, so
Yep.
but it's funny because, like, one of my best friends who I've known for 20 years, she's a 9, like, that's what she is, and so and typically 9s are your, like, she's a therapist, so, like, she's an introvert and, like, she's very,
Yep.
like, in tune with things, and which explains so much about why I hoodie and hide so well.
Yes.
Because when things get too much,
Yep.
you will find me in the corner, hoodie hide.
Hood and hide, people.
That's correct.
So, okay, so
Yep.
that's Enneagram. I gotta check that one out. Whenever
Yeah.
a couple years ago, I was almost joined my church on the staff side. I think I had to take one of those, but I can't remember. It was a book I had to read and take the test out of
Yeah.
it. But I can't remember what the thing was. I definitely don't remember. But the colors make sense, and so
Mhm.
it's a good one. And I'm assuming this the Enneagram because I hear people talk about it all the time. Like
Yeah.
every time. So, any other book recommendations just to throw them out there? Stuff that we've heard about but haven't personally read, anything like that?
Let
Or
me
oh, as Peyton turns to her library,
That's correct. So this one, I haven't read it yet,
The
but
Mountain Is You. Okay.
yes, this one has been highly recommended to me, and I haven't read it yet. It's Transforming Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery.
Shit.
So if you were just triggered by that, you should probably read it. So yeah, like the back is this is a book about self-sabotage, why we do it, when we do it, and how to stop doing it for good. So if that's something that you struggle with, or you're just like constantly feeling like you're in a battle
Yep.
to move yourself forward, this one. And it's on Amazon, and it's not super long. It's like 200 pages. So
Oh, okay.
the Audible would probably on
Yeah.
2x speed be pretty fast.
2 eggs. Girl, I ain't got time to understand gibberish. Jeez Louise.
Oh,
I was trying to
man.
think other stuff that like I love ninja selling just because yes, it helps to build your business, but it helps you just be a better human being in communication period.
That's correct.
So that's a good
Yep.
one. If you haven't read it, it's written from the slant of real estate, but it's so much more than real estate. So it just like how to be. Oh look, I had the damn sample for The Mountain Is You in here.
Look at that.
Never read it though. Oh, another good one is Sell It Like Sirhan. That's a good
That
one.
is a good one.
That's a good one.
That is
Just
a
his
good one.
stories in there. Like he sells like like $20-30 million townhome like apartments in New York. And so like applying his stories to our local market is a little bit harder, but just like the mindset is the same as that you can approach to anything. So he talks about like there's somebody approached him to try to sell an $18 million condo that had just been sitting. So he was like, we're going to do an open house. I'm going to have this. We're going to paint this one room to make it look like this. And he just kind of just shows you like you have to change the mindset of a piece of property sometimes to show people the potential. Yep. And so it's like practical stuff that people can also apply to every aspect of their business as well.
That is a really good one.
Cool. Well, then that pretty much gives it a wrap on 32. Leaders and readers, leaders and readers, guys. We're talking about all the books that we're currently reading right now and trying to be a leader. So anyways, we'll probably have a couple links down in the description for the books that we talked about here and some other ones that we have on the shelf. We'll just go borrow Peyton's library card and get hers.
That's right. Come on over.
Anyways, guys, stay tuned every Tuesday. New episodes. You can get them on the YouTubes to see our beautiful faces. Or if you just want to listen to the craziness on your podcast and in your ears, it's on all the channels as well. Until next time, guys. See ya.